Awesome Rider Wiki.
Hey YouTube, Awesome Rider here, and welcome to my review for the Super Sentai Ultimate Battle, or Strongest Battle, or whatever it's called. Super Sentai Battle. There we go, that works. So yeah, this is the 4-part kind of mini-series that's going to take place between Lupin Ranger versus Pat Ranger, which just ended, and the start of Ryusoulger, to sort of ignite excitement in Sentai. They're doing a little bit of teases, obviously, for Ryusoulger. And honestly, this was pretty solid. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I mean, I didn't think I was going to hate it, but I kind of figured at best it'd maybe be like middle-of-the-road-ish, kind of like fun. And it's not like it's, oh my god, the best thing I've ever seen, but it's also not like just trash. It was more enjoyable than I thought it would be. So basically, we start off with the Gokaigers are being attacked/defeated by Zorg, the purple Dino Knight from Ryusoulger, or he's based on Ryusoulger. We haven't gotten any indication whether he's going to appear in the series yet, or if he's just for this. I'm going to assume some form of him is going to be in the series because it would be silly not to. But anyway, he beats them up. He defeats Marvelous. Marvelous D untransforms, and he recognizes that Zorg has one of Luca's moves, and then he gets, like, the golden ticket, which you may think he's going to the chocolate factory. No, that just means he get a discount on his Dunder Mifflin paper on his next order. So, golden ticket idea. So he gets that. And then we actually get an intro for it, which is cool, like its own series intro, featuring like the core cast members of this. And they have this really cool shot of like all of the different Sentai teams getting their own like title card thing, but it's so quick. It like reminds me of those Facebook games where it's like, whatever dog you stop on is the type of breed you are, but it's like Sentais. So it's really hard to screen cap all of them, but it's super cool, nice looking intro. And then we catch up with Detective Douche. No, he's not a douche, I just really wanted that Lucifer reference in there. But we have Keiichiro chilling at the office, wondering why world peace hasn't been achieved yet. And then he also gets a golden ticket, so he's gonna get a discount on that Dunder Mifflin paper. But it's the invite to the Super Sentai battle. It's on planet Nemesis, which is the planet of Bandora from Zyuranger, and the host girl's name is Rita, so there's no way that's not a little nod to PR. I mean, the planet and then Rita, and so there's like a cool shot of like all of the Sentai Rangers, like from the back, obviously, which is neat. Like obviously they didn't get everybody back, but it was kind of a cool way to make you feel like everybody's there. Yamato's like smiling at Keiichiro because he sees potential in him or whatever. He likes the cut of his jib. That was a weird saying. But she kind of just explains everything, or the core stuff, and then they get separated into teams, and obviously we then follow Yamato to who's our core group we're following. Like each team is sort of separated by a category, and our team is known as Team Weirdo, which seems funny. Like I like it, I think it's funny, but I definitely think there's been bigger weirdos to be called Team Weirdo. But we got Captain Marvelous, we have Tokyo Go-Go, we have Yamato, obviously, Geo Eagle, we have Sasori Orange Stinger, we have Akaninja, my absolute favorite. No, Takaharu's there. So they're Team Weirdo. They kind of get the core premise, like, we're going to fight the different teams, and the goal is to get these little crystals, which will basically be the winner. I don't know, it was a weird accent, but basically be the winner of those rounds. The first matchup is our Team Weirdo versus Team Serious Business, and that representative happens to be Keiichiro, so we get Keiichiro versus Yamato. That had some sort of rhyme to it. And then we also get cut to like other battles that are going on amongst the different teams to see it, and that's pretty cool. Like it's really nice, like shallow toku fapping to see like the cool like different suits in HD that we usually don't get to see in HD. But then like the fight between Keiichiro and Yamato ends up amounting to Yamato demorphing and saying like, oh, what's your dream? And he's like, world peace. I'm like, oh, okay, so Miss Pawnee pageants later. But then whatever Yamato's is that he reveals to him causes him to just let Yamato take it, because he's like, we can totes achieve world peace anyway. It's super ease, man. Just let me take my crystal. And then like we have a look at another one of the battles going on in the next round, and it's like Team Strong or Strongest or whatever. It's like a bunch of brute teams, and then like the team, I was like, I can't remember the name of it. It was like these weird odds and ends, like Shurikenger, Ninja Man, and Signal Man. I can't remember what they called it, but we see them, and then they're attacked by Zorg, and Marvelous obviously remembers and notices him, because the whole time when everybody's like getting to know each other, he's just sitting there in the corner, just done with it all. I think he's annoyed Takaharu's on his team, which makes total sense. but he kind of recognizes him and explains what's going on with him about what he did to his team and the intel on all that and stuff like that. And then when the next round pops up, which is Sasori Orange and Akaninja are going to fight, he's like, hey, if Geizorg shows up, he's mine. That's what Marvelous says, because he wants to defeat him. And they're fighting against Edgy, aka Boken Silver, and Sosuke, aka Go on Red. And they actually have their actors back for that. So we get a little bit of that. There's some fun fighting. And then when they de-transform, there's actually a really funny interaction between Sosuke and Edgy about like their personalities bouncing off of each other, and Edgy eating celery like he does, which I thought was a nice moment. But then they end up getting attacked by Geizorg, and then basically that's where the episode ends, because they're like, oh, Geizorg's there, and, you know, Marvelous is all interested. And yeah, it was a really solid first episode. It basically sets up a really simple, nice premise. And I like it, the tournament aspect, because it gives a concrete reason for the teams to be fighting. Because usually in Toku crossovers, it's always over a stupid misunderstanding that's really easily fixed, or just something really childish that really just takes me out of it. So I like in this case, it's at least kind of a common goal, and it's not over some stupid misunderstanding. And it kind of sets up a simple reason for this. And I like that it wasn't just about the fighting. Like, it's really cool. Honestly, I don't care so much about the fighting matches up. Like, it's just, some of the suits look really good to see, and we haven't seen some of them in a while. But I like that it's not just about that. Like, we had some really nice little character moments. Like, I liked just the moments between the team when they were in their civilian mode in their, like, waiting room. And they, like, acknowledge who's met each other. Like, we know that most recently, Jewel Eagle had met Gokai Red during that anniversary special, and so he's like, yeah, we know each other. And then I don't remember if they acknowledged it really, but Akaninja and Geo Eagle obviously met each other because there was a crossover. So there was nice bits like that. I also really liked like the interactions with Keiichiro and Yamato. I really liked especially that moment between Edgy and Sosuke, because it was like a moment that didn't need to be done. They very easily could have been like, oh yeah, here's the actors, look, we got them back, here's their faces, now they're gonna fight. But they, you know, went out of their way to show us, like, how these two personalities would interact, bring in various, like, bits of their quirks, like the celery and Sosuke's just general attitude. And it was really nice, because that's honestly what I was looking forward to the most, is seeing these different personalities that you normally wouldn't get to see meet. Because most often you'll get to see, except for recently, like, the current and the previous cast interact, but it's not often you would pull, like, oh, Go on Red's gonna interact with Boken Silver. Not that that was one of my dreams, but it was nice to see that. And I like that aside from the core wish premise of winning this tournament, there's also the mystery with Geizorg. Oh, and also I forgot to mention that near the end of the episode also we get a peek at Ryusoulger Black and Green as they're like taking down this wall, and they're in the battle too seemingly, and they kind of show off the toys. You know, they show off how the souls work and the armor, and so the little teaser for that. But it's kind of nice because you have the simple premise that allows us to have the Rangers interact, but then you have this little bit of a story mystery going on with Geizorg, which also ties into a sneak peek at Ryusoulger, which I thought was neat. I think next week will be interesting because they showed, like, in the preview, there's like a shot of the helmet of Geizorg rolling off. I don't know if that means we'll get to see who he is. Again, like, I'm interested to see how, or if he's incorporated into Ryusoulger. I assume so. There will be weird if he was a Ryusoulger based design just for this. But like, we haven't seen anything about him in the scans or in the episode previews yet. Like I said before, but I think it would be cool if there were like multiple different knights like him, which would be neat. But it should be interesting, I think. I think I forgot to mention too, another cool moment was when they were showing off some of the other matches. We got a look at Team Swordsman. That kind of sounds dirty when I say it like that for some reason. But like, it had Deca Master and Shinken Red there, and like we got, you know, Doggy's suit. So they technically got the actor back, but they got the voice actors for it. And it was just kind of cool to see that matchup because it made sense, and they each get their own unique little title cards when they introduce themselves, which is neat. Like, honestly, this was just a really fun special. It was really cool. I think if you're a Sentai fan, you're absolutely going to enjoy it. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad if they did this every year in between the Sentais. Like, instead of, if we're not going to do those team-up movies so much anymore, although we are getting Q-Ranger versus Loot Pat. But I think it would be cool to have this little event 3-4 weeks in between. And it doesn't even always have to be the tournament. They can use that sometimes, but just set up something that's not too stupid. This is kind of nice and simple, and gives a chance to see various cast members interact. It's kind of a fun little event to go to while we're gearing up for the next Sentai. And I think if it works out, like both in popularity and as a way to sort of hype up the next Sentai like they're doing with the Ryusoulger characters, I think that could be a fun little mini tradition, kind of like for a while we had that tradition of the Sentai Rider crossover right around when they needed to promote something, which I think was neat. Also, this episode really had me thinking about, you know, both Sentai and Rider are kind of operate like each series is supposed to be in their own universe, but then they have like that shared aspect where it's like they want it to connect when they do and don't want it to connect when they don't. But I was thinking about how Gokaiger acted as such a nicer vehicle than anything Riders had to make me accept it. Like, cause Sentai basically is always self-contained, and then they used to say at the beginning of those anniversary movies, like, two teams that should have met are meeting. And you kind of, in my head at least, I kind of accepted like they're separate, but there's also a universe where they all exist, which is the Versus movie universe / the Gokaiger universe. And I think Gokaiger just really eased that transition for me, so even though things don't always line up, it's just easier for me to dive into that Sentai-verse where they're all together, compared to Rider, which I think has just been such a mess. Like, I'm watching this, and like the Q Rangers are supposed to be far from the future, and there's all these little things, but it's just so much of a smoother transition into me watching these team-ups than Geo, where I'm like, this is not supposed to be happening. Like, it's just a personal thing, but I just wanted to highlight how much better of an anniversary series Gokaiger was than the Rider ones. I just was really thinking about that during this one, at least as being a vehicle for that. But anyway, I've rambled on enough. Overall, I would give this a solid first start, an 8. I'm really looking forward to the next few weeks. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps to ring that bell to get all my Power Rangers, Toku news, and toy reviews. Till next time, Dawson Rider, signing out.